Hey everyone and welcome back to the sports section. Now in this video I'm not going to talk about transfer targets, rumors, signings, whatnot, but I'm going to say that this summer is going to be one hell of a summer when it comes to the transfer window. But in this video I want to focus on the multi-club structure because the Chelsea owners have acquired Racing Club de Strasbourg, which is obviously a club in Ligue 1 in France. Now, why is this important? Because we know for a while already that the new owners want to build something like the Red Bull Group, something like the City Group as well, having multiple clubs under one big umbrella. Now, what is one of the big advantages of doing that is, well, when you send a player on loan, instead of sending him on loan to a club that is not owned by the same owner, which means that that club could or could not suddenly stop playing that player, and that's one of the ways you stop the development of certain players. But if you control a couple of clubs, the same owner controls a couple of clubs, you know in advance that if you send a player on loan to that specific club, probably the development will happen pretty well and pretty fast because, well, the same ownership. Now I want to talk about an article from The Athletic that touches exactly on that. So the Chelsea owners have reached an agreement to become the new shareholders of Ligue 1 side Strasbourg. So Mark Keller, which has been the president of Strasbourg since 2012, said this. The aim is to enable Racing Strasbourg to be even more ambitious and competitive in a football world that has changed considerably, particularly with the massive arrival of foreign investors in many French clubs and the evolution of Ligue 1 from 20 to 18 clubs. BlueCo added to the statement, "It is an honor for us to be part of this historic club. We are committed to preserving the heritage of Racing Strasbourg and are focused on working closely with Mark and his management team to continue the excellent work they have been doing." Now, by the way, there have been already some protests where, well, some fans there aren't that happy that Todd Boehly is coming to town. And to be honest, can't really blame them. If you look at Chelsea's season, if you look at the way the first season has actually, well, gone, not that great. Now they continue by saying here, this strategic investment would further our presence in European football alongside our ownership of Chelsea. We believe it would create huge opportunities to share knowledge and expertise. Now, of course, they're not going to stop with just Strasbourg. They're probably looking at other clubs as well. Some examples here, they were previously linked with Bordeaux and Portuguese side Portimonense or something like that. Then, recently, Boehly spoke, well, recently actually, in September 22, Boehly said this. He would love to build out the footprint for Chelsea to possess a similar network of clubs as the City Football Group and Red Bull Group. We've talked about a multi-club model and I would love to build out the footprint. I think there are different countries where there are advantages to having a club. Red Bull does a really good job. They've got Leipzig, they've got Salzburg, they've got New York Red Bulls as well. I think they've got a team in Brazil as well and probably other countries out there as well. Now, both of which, Leipzig and Salzburg, both of which are playing in the Champions League, they've figured out how to make that work. Now you have Man City, which has a big network of clubs as well. The challenge that Chelsea has right now is that when you have 18 to 20-year-old superstars, remains to be seen who those superstars are, you can loan them out to other clubs, but you put the development in someone else's hands. Our goal is to make sure we can develop pathways for our Chelsea superstars to get onto the pitch while getting game time. For me, the way to do that is to get another club in a very competitive league, maybe somewhere in Europe. And of course, right now, we know that Strasbourg is one of those clubs. Now, I don't know where they're going to buy their next clubs, maybe in the MLS, I think would be a no-brainer right now, right? With the arrival of Messi, I think the MLS will get automatically more attention. I predict that Ronaldo will join the MLS as well, probably next season. That's just a prediction. Maybe South America would be also a good option to acquire a club there, develop some talent. Of course, there's a huge talent pool in that continent. But which player can we send out to Strasbourg? Because let's be honest, right? Ligue 1 is not super competitive. But the smaller clubs, if you're fighting for your life for relegation or to survive relegation, then yes, it becomes a bit more crucial, a bit more competitive. Now, who could we send to such clubs? I don't think we will send Andres Santos or Cassaday to one of these clubs, or to Strasbourg, because I think their level, their quality deserves maybe a club in the championship or even a club in the Premier League, such as a Burnley or something like that. Now, they do say here that across Europe's Big Five leagues, 32.7% of sides are part of multi-club models linked to a total network of 91 other teams. Now, I'm sure somewhere, maybe in this decade, towards the end of this decade, the question will become, can this continue? Can we let a couple of big networks basically control a lot of clubs in the football world? I mean, look at what Qatar is doing, look at what Saudi Arabia are doing, right? A country, which is already a big problem, a country owning a couple of clubs. I mean, how is that fair? Now, a company or a couple of people, a couple of investment people, whatnot, owning several clubs might also be a problem. I mean, conflict of interest, etc., etc. I mean, football used to be basically, first of all, owned by fans, or at least co-owned by the fans. You look at Bayern München, for example, the perfect model, in my opinion. Now, if you're going to start and let huge investors, companies, countries buy football clubs, buy maybe even football leagues, who knows at this point, I think the charm, the appeal of football will probably go away. I mean, I know already right now that the younger generation don't really love football clubs. They rather love football players, which is already a huge, huge flaw in this hobby, let's call it, in this passion, this love for the sport. You love a club. You don't love a football player. You can like a football player, but you support a team. You don't support a player that plays for the team, because then you're not really that loyal. That's already one issue I have with the younger generation. We might talk about this another time. But talking about the multi-club model, especially for Chelsea, I think, yes, it could be interesting, especially since we have such a huge squad and especially lots and lots of younger players. Now, one of the players that is already rumored maybe to go to Strasbourg is Fofana, David Datro Fofana, not Wesley Fofana. Too bad, I know my hopes got up when I saw Fofana. No, it's the striker. But, of course, we know from some rumors that in training at Chelsea, he hasn't really impressed the manager that much. And so you might see why loaning him out makes sense, or even just selling him. Remains to be seen what happens. Again, I'll say this again. This summer is going to be a very, very interesting one. And for a club like Chelsea, not just Chelsea, but I'm talking about Chelsea in this video, it's going to be an extremely crucial one. Lots of players going out, and we need crucial players, not a lot, but a couple of crucial, maybe a handful of players coming in to fill those gaps and to up the quality. That's going to be extremely crucial. Now, do share your thoughts down in the comments below with regards to the multi-club model. Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.